Wallahi. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of, let's call it Omar Assamism.
Yes.
And yes, it is.
I love that name.
I made up that name from how much I wanted not to be associated with any group. Guys, I don't believe in anything. Don't put me in a group. Omar Assamism. I just made it on the fly. It's working. Good. Omar
I love
Assamism.
Omar Assam, but I don't really like Omar Assamism.
Yeah. Omar Assamism, like Omar Assamists are the people associated with Omar Assam in politics. But Omar Assamism has nothing to do with politics in particular. Anyways, guys, I have an awesome human being, someone I really admire, respect, and love. Yasmine Mohammed from Canada. Thank you so much for doing this. And I was just waiting to talk to you because we really need to talk about what the West is doing, because I will just say one thing and give you the mic. Hijab is the reverse opposite, historically, religiously, culturally, and practically, to empowerment.
Absolutely. Of course.
You go.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. So we have a problem in the West. So feminists over here want to speak up against the hijab, and they want to speak up against, obviously, they want to speak up against the hijab. They understand that it's a symbol of misogyny. They understand that it's a symbol of oppression. They understand that it's a symbol of right-wing conservative Islam. But what happens is when they try to speak up, they have so many Muslim women that speak up against them. Exactly. Somebody like Mona Al-Tahawi, somebody like Linda Sarsour, somebody like that Muslim girl, I don't even know what her name is, Tahani.
There's a lot of them. Tahani something.
Yeah, so many of them. They stand up and they say, don't talk about Muslim women. Muslim women is our business. They're okay. Don't worry about them. They're fine. Worry about your own women. Worry about the feminism issues in your own country. Don't talk about our women. And when they do that, what they're doing is they are leaving those women in the Muslim world. They're basically saying, ignore them. Leave them in their oppression. They're fine. And so they're the ones that are actually supportive of these women being continued.
And does someone actually believe the claims of Muslim women activists in the West, who say like it's our own choice, it has nothing to do with oppression and all this stuff? Like they take them seriously, or they actually know that they do? Okay, then that's a problem of like.
You know why they take them seriously? Because those are the people that get the microphones. Okay, when you have somebody like me or Ayaan Hirsi Ali or Shazia Hobbs or a million other women speaking up and saying the opposite, they don't want to hear from us. We don't get in the media.
Just political correctness and just liberal narrative of regressive left. That's basically why those people have a louder voice than you?
Yes, so they're the ones that are in the newspapers, they're the ones that are on TV, they're the ones that are, you know, all over the media, magazines, everything. So that's the voice that the regular American or regular Canadian or regular Westerner, that's what they hear. So they respond right away with, oh, well, it must be their choice because that's what I read in the newspaper.
Must be their choice, fuck me.
Yes, exactly.
And of course I know about the push for Islamic activists because I know the Brotherhood are doing shit in the West too. Like they keep on pushing this hijab. It all started like way ago. It didn't get this strong, but even in the late 90s and 2005, the whole Islamophobia and taking Islam as a race instead of a religion and hijab is by choice, those three were Muslim Brotherhood ideas started by a bunch of Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood in Germany. No one took them seriously because this was 9/11 days. But the second Ben Affleck shitted himself on Bill Maher, like that was a perfect opportunity for them. They were waiting so much for some idiot to ruin everything. Like we read about this and we just didn't believe it would work. Like I knew the methodology behind their thinking. They're playing on white guilt. They're playing on cultural relativism. They're playing on everything, and they picked Germany for a reason. Let's pick the most guilty of all to do the shit we want. It's fucking disgusting, by the way. Like the fact that you're gonna play on people's guilt for something
Play
that
on
they didn't even do. And play on their empathy to progress your ideology and Islamize the West. It's so fucking it's the Muslim Brotherhood do some disgusting shit, but the fact that it's not related to terrorism directly makes it even harder to fight.
It's like
if they were gonna kill, sim في العسل extremely, and that's a problem. And the Muslim Brotherhood understand that they wouldn't push violence because even the most cultural relativist guy in the left wouldn't be okay with jihad. But
they understand that, they know. But what they're doing is the same
they
thing
can
as
push,
jihad.
they can Islamize the West in other ways. They can push cultural relativism to the point of hijab is empowerment, to the point of no, it's her own choice. Polygamy, multiple wives is okay. Now it's going along. It's our own culture, and of course, every criticism must be taken. They change Islam to a race specifically to do this. It's fucking looking from outside, the plan is working.
It's actually more successful than being a jihadi. Like what they're doing is really smart.
Yeah,
and we see their success rate in every country that they've been in. We see how successful they are.
How many times we have conversations here about Muslim Brotherhood being more dangerous than ISIS? Because ISIS will end. There is no way.
ISIS are overt. They're not covert, right? They're very clear what they're doing. Whereas people like the Muslim Brotherhood or people like Linda Sarsour or Tariq Ramadan or all of those people, the West think that they're their friends. They think that these people are their allies.
If only they knew.
I feel like he was like the perfect, because it's his grandfather started the Muslim Brotherhood, right? And I feel like it was like, what was that? Hassan al-Banna, right?
Yeah, Hassan al-Banna.
His grandfather. So it's like Tariq Ramadan was born and raised in the West, so he understands the Western mentality.
And weaknesses.
And he knows he was like the perfect, like they cultured him in a lab.
Yeah, it's exactly like the Muslim Brotherhood ideology of manipulation, lying, and playing your way acrobatic through, plus knowing the West very well, playing on liberal values, playing on human rights, playing on white guilt, and there would be no conversation between me and a liberal who actually stands down to a Muslim saying this to respect their culture, to tell him otherwise, because he will always be more afraid to be a racist. Like it's this fear of offense is completely away from us. Trust me. Like we offend. Like we
yeah.
Like
they
that's
offend
what we were
too, though. That's the thing. They offend too, but only if your skin is white.
Oh, Jesus, don't get me. The color thing is so. The idea that
they have no problems speaking out against Christianity. They have no problems speaking out against white supremacists. They have whenever all of these same values that are in Islam, the same filth that's in the ideologies, other fascist ideologies, even if it's parallel, exactly the same thing. But they will criticize it if it comes from an ideology where the adherents are majority white, but they won't criticize it from an ideology where the adherents are majority not white. That's the only difference. So that's racism, basically. They're being bigots.
They're being bigots because it's not. And the problem is, like, whoever said that Islam is specific to any color? Like, they can be sexist, bigoted white Muslims. It's the ideology. First of all, that's number one. Second of all, the way they change, like, I don't even know when exactly did it change to a race. Like the race war came in out of no fucking where. We were just fighting an ideological war, and suddenly out of nowhere, Islamophobia, racism came, ruined everything. Like we didn't even know actually. Like, of course, I know the goals of the Brotherhood, but we didn't actually think of it. Never in racist terms. Even Muslims here don't think of it in racist, in race baiting. Like racism turning into everything into racism is like an American thing more than anything here. Like I would say this in defense, like Muslims here would fucking love any other Muslim, like no matter the race. Actually,
Yep.
it's we just need more. In fact, they more like love this foreigner Muslim. Oh, العالم الألماني أسلم. Like they
They're so
even love that
excited.
more.
Mhm.
So and there's a disconnect. I'm gonna tell you stories about how far this a woman's march in America with signs saying hijab is empowerment is so far removed from us, because you gotta know, like, some people over here don't know the history behind postmodernism, multiculturalism, cultural relativists. Then they were Islamophobia, and they don't know all that. They still think of the West as Western values.
Mm.
So we're here fighting for Western values, basically. So people, when they
And the West is
see
fighting
shit,
for Islamic values.
it's insane. I know. So it got so confusing to the point, like, okay, I'm gonna tell you a story. It's hilarious. A friend of mine in Madinat Nasr, she came when I met her. She showed me this woman with a sign, hijab is empowerment, and we started laughing about it and how stupid it is and everything. But 2 3 minutes into the discussion, I noticed that my friend thinks that this is an Onion article. It's satirical. It's not actually real.
Oh.
Like, she didn't even expect something like this to actually exist in the West. And I started explaining to her, no, it's not the Onion. It's not sarcasm. They actually fucking do that in the street. And
And it's not just this one woman, too. Sometimes they think, oh, it's just this one crazy girl. No.
no, and that, you know how that conversation ended? That conversation ended with her telling me, Omar, you just don't understand sarcasm.
Oh, wow. She
Like,
really didn't believe you. She
she,
really,
in her
wow.
brain, there is no way America and Western values and First Amendment and everything about the West that she used to love is now turning into this shit. Like,
It
remember,
honestly makes me want to cry. Like, it's
yeah,
just
it's
so sad.
so what the hell happened? And remember, Yasmin, we used to pre Ben Affleck. There's a split in history. There is a
Yeah,
pre Affleck, post Affleck. Pre
totally.
Affleck, we used to love liberals and liberal media because it was pushing science and atheism even against Christianity, but we were using the same arguments. We used the same arguments of stand-up comedians, George Carlin, like everyone, Bill Maher, and these
Yeah,
people on the left we used to love, and we
yeah,
were following them. But just the split in the Affleck moment just
yeah.
took everyone by amazement. And you know what took people by amazement more? Bill Maher's audience clapping for Ben
Oh, I
Affleck.
know.
It was just that, not this idiot Hollywood liberal elite saying some shit and Sam Harris will kick his ass. There was and there was no Hitchens there to give Bill Maher's audience the finger.
I
Like,
miss kitchens.
I miss
Yeah.
everyone misses Hitchens. Yasmin, till now, all the some basically majority of the videos circulating around in Arabic subtitles are still from Hitchens.
Yeah.
Like, he's still doing things no one alive on the planet now is doing,
No.
converting Muslims to atheists, turning people around. His way is just missing so much,
All
and
the
there's no,
atheists
like,
are soft now. They're too soft.
that's
We
what me and my friends basically think, and my friends even think more or less of them. Like, they went too soft, something ruined them, and some of them go too far as they don't believe that they put. I don't agree with my friends, by the way. They put malice, like they have malicious intent somehow.
I don't
This
think
thing
they have
doesn't make
malicious
sense.
intent. But I do want to tell you that the reason why they've gone soft is exactly the reasons that we were talking about before. Because they're victims. We were all raised with this political correctness shoved down our throats, right? So we're all products of that. So these atheists, other than Hitchens, of course, because he didn't see Muslims as completely separate human beings. He saw them as the same as
Yes,
everybody else. So if he's going to say fuck Christianity, he's going to say fuck Islam too. No problem. But the soft atheists that we're talking about right now are ones that are victims of that mentality. They're looking at Muslims differently than they look at Christians and they look at Jews and they look at Hindus and they look at everybody else. They're
don't they understand that this is soft bigotry of low expectations?
cognitively, I'm sure they do, but they're so afraid of the backlash and they're willing to pander.
Okay,
And
this
it's
pisses me
pretty
off.
disgusting. It's pretty
Yeah.
sad because these people were my heroes. And to see them pander like that and to see them bow to identity politics like that is really heartbreaking.
Okay, I get pissed off from the idea of they're afraid from the backlash. What backlash? It's not like something in the laws or something that destroys the First Amendment, or it's not death threats. What backlash? People are gonna call you racist and Islamophobic. It doesn't
That's it. They
matter.
can't handle it. They can't handle it. Reza
How?
Aslan said I'm racist. Who the fuck cares what
Holy
Reza
shit.
Aslan says? Reza Aslan eats brains. Why is he important?
Reza Aslan eats brain.
Why is the opinion of a liar of any relevance? Why do people care? I don't know why they care.
Okay, I'm gonna like place devil advocate in their mind. Does the character assassination from the Reza Aslans of the world will actually work to destroy something like they care about? Like, let's say you were attacked, Yasmin. Can they actually prevent confessions of an ex-Muslim to come out? Is there?
No,
Is it?
they
Do they have? Okay, then why the fuck would you even care what they say?
I don't know.
That's my thing. I actually thought there has to be some like authoritarian leftist power, so that's why they're pandering. But the idea that it's just like the usual social justice, racist bigot, it's nothing.
Honestly,
Like we make fun of these guys.
They are more afraid of being called a racist than being killed. Honestly, like there's a really funny video online where there's an ISIS guy, like a jihadi guy, that's about to chop off the head of a non-believer, and then the non-believer is like saying like, please, why are you doing this? Let's talk about this or whatever. And then the jihadi says, are you questioning my deeply held beliefs? Are you being Islamophobic right now? It's my religion to chop off your head, and are you questioning this? And so then the guy says, no, I'm sorry, I'm not racist, I'm not Islamophobic, please chop off my head, go ahead. It's not a joke. It's so true. They're so afraid of being called racist that they're willing to, like, look at the rape gangs that are happening in the UK. I'm sure
Western Europe is a totally different thing. Like I know people who came back from Western Europe and they told me shit I didn't see in Cairo. Yasmin.
Yes.
Like it's insane. Like I can actually believe from the people I know in America that America is fine. But even
America
the Muslim
is going to be okay because
yeah.
they're used to this. Americans are not, they're fighters.
They're fighters and always like the patriotic kinds of the center and the right will keep on pushing away.
That's right. They have a strong right wing. They're going to be okay. I'm worried about countries like Sweden and Canada and Germany.
Sweden, don't even get me started. I've just read an article about ISIS members returning to Sweden and giving them shelters to integrate them back into society. What
of course, you expect them to be racist? Of course they're going to give them shelter.
Okay, my country is so racist, Yasmin. We dropped the nationality of anyone who joined ISIS. Yeah. Egyptians.
Yeah.
Like
my ex, our son didn't have an Egyptian nationality anymore.
Because the second you do this, you're gone. Like we don't even put them back. And when it comes to immigration, like we do some pretty good shit just to ensure people who are coming. Is it? And that's what's insane, Yasmin. Sometimes Muslims fighting terrorism and even extreme sexism, Wahhabism style, are better than Westerners with white guilt because they're not afraid of Islamophobia and they know this dangerous people.
Because they treat them like human beings. Because they say this is an evil human being, and we have to treat him as such. Whereas from the West, they'll look at him and they'll say that's a Muslim, so therefore we cannot call him evil because we have to respect his rights and we have to respect his culture and blah blah blah. That's the difference. They don't treat them like human beings. They treat them like something else, to the point that they are willing to leave their own daughters to be raped by these men because they're too scared to be called racist and Islamophobic.
I don't even know how to reply to that. That statement, like I heard shit about, like she was pissed that my friend was pissed at British police because when she was reporting stuff, they were concerned about her as a brown woman. But the second she was an ex-Muslim reporting Muslims, they dropped the investigation.
There you go.
And she had real threats about people who believe in حد ردة this to apostates.
Doesn't matter.
What?
Doesn't matter.
But that goes beyond the usual cultural relativism. This is something specific
It's
to
like a
Europe.
neurosis.
La. It's either white guilt syndrome. It's a mental disorder. Like
I completely agree.
it's when I even talk to, and the sad thing is, like, even if it's coming deep down from I want to be a good guy, I want to be, they're not knowing that first of all what you're doing is immoral, you're hurting human beings. I'm a consequentialist, I care about consequences. Your consequences are horrible. Second of all, you're the actual racist in the soft bigotry flow expectation to expect less from these guys. Like, if I
Omar,
told
I have
you,
to tell you something.
yeah,
In America, there was a doctor that was saying that we should allow people to cut their daughters' clitorises because of cultural relativism.
and he was arrested, right?
No, that's a doctor. There was a doctor that was actually performing FGM, and she was arrested. That was in Michigan. But
yeah,
I mean, there's actual
actually,
academics.
there
are actual academics. No, I'm not fucking kidding you. These are liberal academics that are saying, like, okay, that's okay. We got to just do like a nick or something. Like they're supporting FGM because it's done by Muslim people.
No way.
So when you talk about it being a mental disorder,
this is insane. This is insane because we're actually making progress in the FGM fight in Cairo. It's almost gone. Like I'm sad about Upper Egypt because no one's there to do it. But in a weird way, like Cairo is more anti-FGM than someone like this is, and I'm not taking credit. There are Muslims who are anti this stuff. Like,
of course.
Where are they?
Because they're human beings. How could you not be anti cutting off a clitoris?
But here's the thing.
There's one case every hour. And for 30 years, it's been against the law, and nobody has ever been prosecuted.
What do you mean against the law, but no one's being? How is it even?
That's it. When they find out that somebody has done this to their child, they educate them. They talk to them about it, and they say, you know what? You really shouldn't cut off your daughter's clitoris. Okay, first of all, it's too fucking late. They've already committed the crime. It's against the law. You do the crime, you do the time. Done. Khalas. Why are we having a conversation about this? And second of all, do you think that your UK education is going to supersede their Islamic or their cultural values? Of course not. But if they never arrest anybody, then there's never going to be a deterrent, and people are going to continue to do it.
The exact point was deterrence. We need someone to get thrown in jail for others to do it for their own daughters. No. This is basic. Like, this is I'm so afraid. This pisses me off because, like, that conversation is more regressive than conversation we're having here. This is fucked up.
Yeah.
And what is it about this fucking white guilt? Like, okay, the Muslim Brotherhood started it in Germany using the Holocaust guilt. Then it moved to somehow cultural relativism guilt. And do they know that there are brown people, whatever that means, in the Middle East who are not cultural relativists and saying the West is the best and we want Western values? Like, where are the rest of the opinions? Even if we're gonna say you're gonna take some Muslims' word for it and respect it, there is other Muslims all over the world who have other opinions.
How has this
been a group? Like them though. Okay. Good.
They don't want to hear. I feel like right now it's switching. I feel like the liberal Western values that used to be liberal Western values here are actually not valued anymore. People don't recognize how important and how incredibly lucky they are to even have the first fucking amendment. Like, just that alone.
They're not proud of it.
They're not proud of it.
They're almost apologetic.
They're apologetic. They're like the Shia with the self-flagellation during Ashura, right? They hate themselves. They hate themselves. But people in the rest of the world, They're the ones that are valuing liberalism and Enlightenment values
I
and what we
am
call
dying
Western
to get
values. You're
Western
the one.
values into my country. What
Thank
is
you.
this shit?
Exactly.
And why I've dealt with this mentality before. Remember the three American liberals? But why is it in America that the people who are liberal with liberal values, with freedom, with LGBT, are the ones so weak and apologetic about it, and the ones on the right who would actually go as far as Christian right are proud Americans? How is this even possible? Like the people on my side are not even proud to be the right guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you
It's
mean.
it's it's weird because and that's the whole confusion about the word liberal, by the way. Liberal
Yeah.
here is a bad word. Like
Yeah.
people here believe in secularism as علمانية, علماني.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is good. But liberal is a piece of shit because
It's
of
unfortunate. It's like the word feminism, right? It got ruined, but it
yeah,
got
yeah,
hijacked.
the word feminine. Like I've seen uh, ex-Muslim women fighting against FGM in Upper Egypt when they're like talking, they're like, I am a woman's right activist. I'm not a fucking feminist.
Yeah.
Like it's the third wave part, and here's my problem with this whole third wave thing. Their speeches and their talks are so vague and arousing. Like it's not even motivational to the
Mm.
point that they're not even saying anything specific. Like I have a friend who interacted actually with Western feminists who, let's give them credit, had the yeah they were trying to help. Okay, they had the intention of helping,
Mhm.
and she noticed that all they actually want is to write this hit piece about my friend. Like, look at this hero Egyptian feminist standing up for women. She
Mhm.
was asking for money psychiatrists for victims of FGM. She didn't even need this hit piece on BuzzFeed. You know what
Mm.
I mean? Like
Mhm.
there is a different mentality of let's get fighting for on the front lines of let's quick picture, and it's not actually pragmatic on the ground solutions for anything. Like you think
No.
we care about BuzzFeed? Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
It's
That's like
okay.
we just had Insaf Haidar, Raif Badawi's wife. We
I
just
know.
had her on the Secular Jihadist podcast, and she said something similar. She said all of the leaders everywhere, our prime minister here in Canada, Justin Trudeau, and leaders all around the world, they all want to take pictures with her, and they all want to talk about how much they want to help Ra'if and how angry they are and how against all of this, Saudi Arabian oppression is, but then they don't actually do anything to help.
They never actually do anything. That's my friend's exact point. They never actually did. And this is not a rant against help from the West. This is a rant against feminists from the West saying stuff just as if they're helping. Like if you there is Western help called organizations under the UN, people you don't even know about, who doesn't like make up pieces like being in the media, look at us fighting for, they
Yeah,
actually come here and help. Like
yeah.
these guys are the good guys. Like I can't
Mm,
give credit enough to Doctors Without Borders. Holy shit, these guys do work non-stop to help everyone, Arab world, Africa, everywhere.
okay, you want to hear
They're
something?
wish.
People
Yeah,
here, they say that Doctors Without Borders are just spoiled, rotten doctors that just want to go on holidays.
no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, they
You
do.
didn't just say that.
I did Google it. There's a derogatory term for them. I can't remember what it is exactly, but it's like a play on Doctors Without Borders, but it's something like Doctors Without Butlers or something like that. But basically they're not.
Based on what
It's
facts,
the opposite.
guys?
I don't
In the
know.
Ebola epidemic in 2014, there is 17 Doctors Without Borders doctors who died saving people from Ebola. Without them, Ebola would have taken over Africa. What? This is insane. And you're telling me that the feminists with a Patreon because they're fighting depiction of women in video games are the heroes? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I don't
And
know
there is
what's going
other
on. I
yeah
don't
yeah
know what's
it's
going on.
weird.
I think it.
And
I think that we went crazy. I think that's what's happened. I think that we started here in the West, we started to not be proud of our values. We started to get told that being patriotic was bad, that being proud of your country and what your country has achieved was bad. And instead, we should be ashamed of who we are, and we should basically admire all of the other Western cultures and all of the wonderful things that they do. And coupled with that is this idea that we can never criticize minority groups because the only bad people are white people. And other people, if they do bad things, it's out of their control, and they didn't really.
Out of their control? Give them fucking standards.
We don't give them any agency. They treat them like stupid brown savages. They treat them like animals. They treat them like animals, Yomar. They say,
I know. I've dealt with them, Yasmine. I've dealt with them. Like,
you wanna, what do you expect these guys to do? Okay. Their country was invaded. Excuse me? Or they're unemployed, so of course they're going to put on a suicide vest and kill people in a mall. What else do you expect them to do? This is how they treat us.
Okay, let's get real about the soft bigotry flow expectations, because it pisses people off here way more than racism. Actually, to be honest, and might be just me, but the racist comments I get are like funny, or I can just hit back and say other shit I can say. But with soft bigotry flow expectations, it's like the liberal, you would start a conversation to act like, okay, the racist, I don't even care about him. Like, fuck, I don't give him priority to even, I will fight him. But there is a slip where you actually talk to a liberal because you think he's on your side, and suddenly, tick, soft bigotry flow expectations out of no fucking where, and it pisses off more. And I think if an American liberal came here and saw conversations about their side being talked about this way, he wouldn't even understand. Like, Yasmine, I have to give examples here. Like, I was in Costa with friends. There is a video. We are saying that this piece of shit, he's a racist, he's talking about us bad, and thanks this guy that he's kicking his ass. To a liberal, he would think the guy we're talking about who's racist is a conservative, and the guy we're saying thank you is a liberal. Opposite. It was a White House briefing between that Podesta CNN idiot and Stephen Miller. And we were rooting for Stephen Miller. The Podesta guy is saying, but you can't, if you hire the standards, you only want white people to come in. What the fuck? Wow, you have to see that video. It's insane. And guess what? He said this. You're racist, and your Trump administration has an ethnic immigration agenda, because once you say they must learn English, you only want people from England and Australia.
Oh my god.
Am I speaking fucking English now, John Podesta or whatever the fuck your name is in CNN?
Oh my god.
What the fuck? And it's even deeper than that, Yasmine, because in a way he's actually saying white people are a higher standard than you're saying that if the Trump administrations make it tougher, only white people can get in. That's your plan. What?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, we have PhDs and stuff? Like, what are you talking? You say, oh, sorry, CNN, I am just a third world savage who wouldn't understand English.
Yeah.
This is fucking insane. And the same, you got me all that because I hate soft bigotry flow expectations. But this is the same shit I met with 3 liberals I talked about at first. When it comes to liberals, sometimes I just play and fun, like, oh yeah, Islam is the religion. I don't want to fight them. I just want to be a nice guy. But it went to a point that it was really insulting to me. It's like, the exact quote I'm gonna tell you, and it's so condescending to the point that it's just pisses me off. And I did hit him. I'm not pro-violence or anything, but I just So these 3 guys, we had the conversation about racism, and they said fuck white people. Of course, that's not racist. But after that, yeah. Trust me, I've went in a rant about like color of skin doesn't matter, and they said fuck white people. Right after it, they don't even understand the shit. Sometimes getting liberals out of progressive left is harder than getting Muslims out of Islam. Trust me.
agree. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so well
I
said.
swear, I've converted like
Write that
1,000
down.
Muslims to atheism,
That's
but
my
a
next
liberal is just stuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
write it down. But okay, so I was playing with them because I can still make jokes about them later with my friends or in the WhatsApp group. We actually make fun of liberals who think this way. Like I have two friends in America. They're ex-Muslim, but they pretend to be Muslim just to get free shit from Starbucks and stuff. Like they post us on WhatsApp. Look at the stupid liberals. We're conning them out of money, basically.
I'm just going to interrupt you for 1 minute. I'm just going to tell you really quickly that a friend of mine, I don't want to say who he was because then who the girl I'm talking about, obvious, and I'm obvious.
Think about yeah.
Yeah, I don't want her to be outed, but he was telling me that she's ex-Muslim. She doesn't wear hijab or anything, obviously. She puts on a hijab when she goes to university so that she can get scholarships and she can get treated differently and she can get all of the perks that come with being a little Muslima, right? Because all the garbage here in America, they just celebrate anybody with a hijab on. Did you see Hillary Clinton when she's tweeting about the one that was in the Olympics that didn't win any medals or anything, but she has a hijab on her head? There's other Muslim women there in the Olympics too, but they don't have a hijab on their head, so they don't matter, right? Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, but continue.
Yeah. And I didn't actually know this was the mainstream. Like I thought my friends were like the cunning, deceiving, funny guys on WhatsApp. Yeah. So, but here is the point that pissed me off. That I never resorted to violence like except 3 times in my life. This was one of them. After I made my rant about how Western values is good, and I pro-Western values, and I am someone in the East saying Western values is superior. And it's not even opinion. Like it's an objective fact. You can look at medicine, science, life expectancy, people living there, women's rights. You can look at everything. Like it's a fact. But it's obvious. But when I said that, this fucking guy told me, "Oh no, poor you. Evil Western media have manipulated you and turned you against your beautiful culture." And I punched him in the face. I don't even think he understands why I punched him in the face or how that deal with all the 3 Americans even ended. But what the fuck is that? Like, first of all, the evil white man manipulating me, are you saying that the white man is like this powerful guy who can manipulate brown people? That's one.
And you're an idiot that can be manipulated, so you can't...
Yes, that's one. Second, I have no agency of my own whatsoever to actually choose between Western values and Islamic values. I must choose this, obviously. I'm a brown, whatever. And I saw that they were doing it out of this. So I knew these guys are way out of mentality that I can't even explain shit to them, and it just ended with me leaving and them basically running away. They didn't even they actually would like sorry what did we do. They didn't even understand that it's an argument and I wanted the fight, and they were still we're sorry I want to fight. Like, so I left them. That's the level of soft bigotry of low expectations from these fucking liberals, and I am sick that if only they had the same standards for all human beings, regardless of color, race, religion, the entire world would have been to Western values. Do you have any idea the amount of money that's going to support the Islamic anti-bigotry, support this, support that, Islamic reform, Islamic this, Islamic this? Do you think that if that money, all of it just directed to education about evolution and philosophy in Cairo, done?
Yeah.
If they fought for what they believe in, if there were actual patriotics, they would win because they're right. They don't know that they're right. It's fucking I remember the three guys, and they really pissed me off. So I need to calm down. Shit.
Yeah. No,
I was having, I swear, I was having fun with them at the beginning because they had this anything they see, they have to see. Oh, beautiful culture. But it's the point that they're obviously lying. Like they're
yeah.
lying to me. Yeah.
There's
And
a YouTube video that somebody sent me where it was during Hijab Day, and they were putting hijab on girls in colleges and universities across Canada and the United States, and they were putting niqab on them as well. And then they're asking the girls, the Canadian and American girls, how do you feel when you're wearing this? You know, and the girls were saying things like, oh, it's actually really nice. I really like it. I feel comfortable. It's really beautiful. And they're giving all of this like positive feedback about the hijab. They're fucking liars.
they're fucking
Okay?
liars, and
Love
that's
it
proof.
so much that fucking wear it. If it makes you
Okay.
feel so beautiful,
Yes.
if it makes you feel empowered, if it makes you feel protected, then why are
Fucking
you
wear it.
taking it off again? Fucking
And
put it on then. How
and
come
here's
no
the
other women in this world,
Jesus fucking
unless
Christ.
they're Muslim, no other women from any corner of this globe decide, I think I want to cover myself up in a tent? Nobody
It's not an
fucking
obvious
decides
thing
that.
for a woman to decide. It has a religious and cultural purpose. It's not empowerment. It's not like if
Yeah.
Islam didn't exist, there is no woman going around out of no fucking where in Eskimo saying, I
Yeah.
need this thing around my hair. Who
Yeah.
even would think of that? It's
No,
nothing.
but these Western people will lie and
I've
say, "Oh
noticed
yeah,
their
I
lies.
love wearing it. It's so beautiful," because they're too scared to say the truth because they don't want to offend the Muslim.
And even worse, the idea that they're obviously lying, like the people here were lying about some shitty music that I think is shitty. Oh, that's beautiful.
Of
Means
course.
that they're yeah, means that they're in their mind they actually really are racist who thinks less of us.
Do you know
Like
what?
if
So
they're not,
I just thought of something.
yeah,
You should make your next YouTube video like that. Get yourself a liberal, one of these dumb regressive lefties,
I wish.
and play. No, you know what? Even like
Yeah. Make,
we should do this.
pretend to be a Muslim. Yeah, we should. We should.
Not even play like super shitty music, put on like really ugly clothing, and say, "What do you think of my cultural dress?" And they're
It's
gonna be like,
beautiful.
"Oh, it's beautiful." Yeah,
Who am
yeah.
I to judge other cultures?
Who am I to judge
What the
that?
fuck?
Yeah. You know what? This "who am I to judge" thing that they say, that inherently shows that they feel like they have some sort of superiority. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
deep down, like I have no like evidence for this, but I always felt deep down that liberals are racist.
Of course
But
they
they're
are.
but they're racist and they're fighting it so bad because that's why they're doing what they're doing. Like they're always treating. Oh please, I just had a thing in the back of my head. Like black people, Muslim people. I need to repay my sins
Yeah.
and do whatever I can to
Mhm.
like. Okay, black people, but and when it's this whole movement, it goes to the point that the minorities, whatever you think of them, fucking hate you for it. It's
Mhm.
you're not even talking about why am I seeing
It's a mixed
everything
thing
getting
because
spoken?
in America they have
I
an issue right now with Black Americans and the reparations and all of that happening. So they're going through, some growing pains, and they're going through a process, and they're going through, you know, uh, they're progressing because they have a lot of black white issues there that need to be
no,
dealt with.
I
And
know.
they're dealing with those issues right now. But what happened is you had Muslims like Linda Sarsour hijack.
Hijacking,
They've
that
hijacked
actually
this.
exists.
Yeah, and they jumped on there, and they now all of a sudden Linda Sarsour is talking about how her family came to America as black slaves.
What? Oh Linda, oh Linda.
And she has a quote where she says Islamophobia today is worse on Muslims than it was for black slaves.
For,
Okay? So talk about hijack, not just hijacking that situation, but hijacking any situation where
like the
she
Muslim
doesn't
Brotherhood hijacking Holocaust guilt.
exactly. Yeah. So it's just a it's just opportunistic, and
Those
that's
sons of bitches picked Germany for a reason.
yeah, yeah, and it worked. That Hiba, the woman that was on Black Ducks, that I really
And it,
one
yeah,
day I
yeah,
will
it's that's
one day I will hug that girl. But
I,
I really felt her when I first listened to her talk. I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe she just said that. But then I listened to her more, and I was like, oh my god, I really understand where she's coming from, because she was saying,
it's
like, I hope all of these Germans live under Sharia law. I want to see it happen. That's what they deserve, because they're asking for it, Ahmad. They're begging
yes.
for it. This
That's a
pandering that
common
they're
thing.
doing. Yeah.
Common here for us to now now you piece of shit no, but it's
Yeah.
went too far to the point that a friend of mine who's pissed off so much who would be see a terrorist attack, that's what we said, to the point that okay, let's just relax, still a terrorist attack, guys, like we need to feel for them still, but
Yeah.
it's anger to the point of like
You
uh,
deserve it.
yeah,
Almost.
it's almost I have one friend who actually says it, who's okay, you guys fucking deserve this shit happening to you. I would never say that, but
Yeah.
I know where he's coming from, and
I know where
another
they're coming from.
yeah, and it's to that point of we it's a point of we tried to tell you and you shut us down, you know what I mean? It's
Yes.
we've been on this before you for 20 years fighting, and you totally shut us down, and now you're getting the blunt of Islam in your face, and you're not even admitting it. You're still doing the same thing. Till
Yep.
when? Douglas needs to tell you how many times about what his book perfectly. Yeah, Douglas Murray. His book perfected it. Like even the weakness we're talking about, and they don't even hold their own views in a patriotic way. They're not even proud. There is no more enlightenment in Europe. It's dead. They're dead. They don't even feel anything. It's so weak.
The enlightenment is happening on the other side of the world now, to be
Yes,
honest.
the enlightenment is happening on the other side.
This is why I was saying I love Arab atheists, because they're the one, when we were talking about we don't have any strong atheists anymore over here, they're all over there. The strong atheists are in the Arab world. That's where they are right now. And
Ex-Salafis.
I need the ex-Salafis, yeah, because now they're Salafi atheists. Those are the voices we need over here to break through this garbage, right? They're the ones that are going to be like Hitch, right? We're missing Hitch right now, and if we can get those Arab atheists over here, they can fill that void, because they have brown skin and they have Arab names. They can't be thrown the terms racist and Islamophobic at them, right? So they can say what needs to be said, which is basically the same thing all of us have been saying, right?
Two things. One, they wouldn't even understand what you said when you said they have brown skin. They would say, why does it matter? Second thing, second thing, I will criticize my friends on this. They don't know that a Hitch-like character is needed to the West. They think the West is just gone mad, insane. There is no hope for the West. Like they, yeah, of course there is always hope. That's why I'm doing this in English and I'm talking to the West. And but they went like too far. Like they even tell me like, Omar, you will regret this. Like we tried it before and we dealt with this shit, and it's just more important to do stuff here right now. Forget about they're just gone off the deep end with identity politics and shit. Because Yasmine, you have to understand, like there is no such thing as cultural relativism in the Arab world, even with Muslims, Christians. Everyone thinks they're 100% right and the other is 100% wrong. There is no middle ground.
I know.
Like
I try
actually,
to explain that to people here. Yeah, the way the Arab mentality, the way we think is different than the way people in the West think. And so I find myself like this in between, and I know you do too, right? You understand how these think, and you understand how these think, and you understand why they're not able to communicate. You see,
I know exactly.
Yeah, and when I say I want the Arabs from the Arab world to come and speak to these dumb people in the West, I understand that the dumb people in the West are going to attack them right away, and they're going to say, oh, these people are horrible, these people are racist, because their language is going to be too strong for them. Because when you talk about black and white and no middle ground, that's the way we are. And I love that. But over here, it doesn't work. Over here, everything is middle ground. Everything is gray area. Everything is wishy-washy. I have ex-Muslims that were terrorized by Al-Qaeda and are now free, telling me you shouldn't be so angry. You have to relax. Because they've been in America for too long and they've softened so much.
Okay, this softening thing, I need to say this. I need to say this. This is an opinion of a friend of mine. I don't her, but
they forget completely. Yeah. Like I didn't even suffer the same suffering that they had, but because now they're safe in America, they're saying, no, we have to be more careful with our speech.
Yeah, in her opinion, there is like something wrong happens to the mentality for anyone leaving the Middle East going to America and the West. Like she thinks of it as an alien puppet master shit, something in his brain. When it passes a year or 2 years, they become soft human rights. They don't even know how it was anymore, and they will get involved in whatever politics or identity politics or shit going on there, and they will forget about us. It's a bit of but I disagree with her because she would think that you or anyone in the West is soft and have no idea what's going on. Like, guys, trust me, like there's people there who've been through Islamic shit over there.
Yeah, what she's saying is true for some people. Of course, there are some people that do that, especially if it's somebody who's thinking of going into politics or something, because that's somebody that has to pander. But it's not true for all of us, of course. I was born and raised in the West even. I wasn't even born and raised in the Muslim world.
Exactly.
But they're still my people, and you still empathize and you still understand. And I still lived through the Islamic shit, even though I was in Canada. I went to Islamic schools. I was married to a fucking Al-Qaeda guy, for goodness sake. Like, I wore a niqab for 5 years. I understand all of that oppression. The difference is once I got away from my family, I was in a free secular country. So of course I was never as oppressed as somebody who's living in an Islamic country, because I always knew that there was an exit. There was an exit door. Whereas somebody in Saudi Arabia or Egypt or Pakistan or Bangladesh or there's no exit door for those people. So I understand I know what it feels like to be completely compressed with oppression and to feel like there's nowhere you can turn and there's nothing you can do. I know what that feels like, and I know that it's going to bring out a rage in you and just a human instinct to just be so angry and to want to fight back. Of course,
we're anger from morality. We're anger from empathy. This is why we're angry. We're not nice for a reason. And the reason
I didn't forget it. I didn't forget it. I still know it.
This is ignorance on the part of my friends, because they wouldn't even think that in Canada, in the West, they would leave such horrible shit happening to Muslims or citizens of their own country. They actually,
lots of horrible shit happening here.
Yeah, it's ignorance, because a lot of my friends still have the liberal opri Ben Affleck, like. They wouldn't believe Westerners would let this shit happen, so they actually think the West is fine now. So of course anyone there wouldn't even like think about ISIS on our doorsteps. Like this is ignorance from our part.
Well, to be honest, nobody gave a shit in the West. Just like we don't give a shit about anybody in North Korea, and we don't give a shit about people in Africa that don't have clean water to drink. We don't give a shit about people who are being oppressed around the world. But what happened with Islam is the shit has now sprayed into the West.
As Armin would say, a good thing.
In a kind of a good way. I mean, it's a terrible thing to say, but I understand where he's coming from. Like, I get it. It does make sense that at least it has now caused the West to say, oh, we have a problem with Islam that we have to deal with. And if North Korea nukes them, obviously, if anybody, probably not nukes, because then
it will be sold, not it will be sold.
Like if North Korea in any way causes any damage in the States, then all of a sudden they're going to be like, okay, maybe we have to deal with this issue. Maybe we have to. You what I mean? So they just didn't care about Muslims. They didn't care about the Islamic theocracies. They didn't care about anything that was happening to any of these people because it wasn't affecting them. So now it's
And
affecting
ignorant
them.
about it
Now they've
too.
woken
It's
up.
not like they
Yes,
don't
they were
understand that
ignorant about
what's
it.
happening in the Middle East. There's a lot of ignorance.
It just didn't matter.
And even just to be clear, when I talk about shit here, I understand very well there is way more shit in other places. I'm glad I'm in Egypt, not in Saudi Arabia. I am. Whenever I talk shit human rights about Saudi Arabia, I would say the second worst in the world, uh, right under North Korea. Like,
Yeah.
of course there is shit all around, but this mentality you're saying we have as non-stop oppressed, and we look at wishy-washy West dealing with, talking about actually things we deal with, it's not only a betrayal. Sometimes it's, Yasmin, it's more if it's when they actually get involved in politics and do something about their cultural wishy-washy beliefs, they're hurting people. It's some guys I know would consider Democrats an enemy, not just they're too PC, they're culturally relativist. The things you say, like you need to understand that there's three things. There is accusations of Islamophobia, there's soft bigotry for expectations, and there is fucking foreign policy. They support Islamists.
Yeah, yeah.
People who wanna kill us. Fuck you. It's not. It went too far, and I that divide is so tragic because at some point pre Ben Affleck, everything could have been went another way. Like secularists in the middle, all over the Middle East, and America's left could have been perfect allies.
That's
against
what I
conservatives, against conservatives, Christian conservatives, and Muslim. Do they forget that Muslims are conservatives? What the fuck is going on?
They don't realize it. They don't see it. They do not see it. They do not understand that
They're
Muslims
more
are
conservatives than Christian conservatives.
I know. They're not even close. But they don't get it. They see Christian conservatives as the evil, bad enemy, and Muslim conservatives as habibi, my allies, my friends. Look at Linda Sarsour standing with all of the far left people. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely, they don't even realize how stupid they are. That's a sad thing. It's like if they were standing there with Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin is a lot more liberal than Linda Sarsour is, for fuck's sake. Right? They don't even get it. They don't even realize how stupid they are. It's maddening.
There is a speech by Sarah Palin saying, "Frack it, baby, frack it. We need to stop depending on Saudi Arabia." That actually made sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Like even this bad, insane woman from Alaska.
Yeah.
To the point that, and that's really.
I'm not for fracking, but I am for getting away from being reliant on Saudi Arabia. Of course, I'm behind that.
Yasmin, that's extremely paradoxical because anything America does anti-environment is what it will do to depend less on Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? It's a paradox.
No, that's the thing, is we have green and we have ways, we have resources. Here in Canada, we have a Green Party that was their main goal, right? Like we wanted to lead the world. Israel is doing a great job in that industry as well, of just green ways of not being reliant on Saudi Arabia anymore, and also not damaging the one planet that we know is that we can live on, right? So there is a way to do that, and that's what I support. But
in energy, I might support something that wouldn't agree, because we need to put more money into nuclear to make it safe, because nuclear is the way. The amount of energy used by fossil fuels is too high to get replaced by renewable energy, wind and solar. It's just the numbers doesn't make sense. Nuclear can be extremely catastrophic, but if nuclear is safe, it solves everything.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To making nuclear safe, a way to get rid of nuclear waste, and a way to, like, the temperature of like what happened in Japan.
But where I live right now is I live on a fault line. It's called the Ring of Fire. It's the same one that's Haiti and Japan
Oh,
and so this is why I'm against fracking because it ends up causing. So but yeah, nuclear energy is a different story, and
yeah, it's a different story. It can go extremely wrong, but if it goes right, it solves everything because the numbers actually match. Like it
And I
can
think we have
totally
yeah, and I think we have the technology and the intelligence to do it safely, not like before.
it's just to get rid of human error. I've read a lot of books about it. It can be done, but it's if at 0.1301 Celsius it changes in uranium compartment, everything blows up, and people. It's so delicate to the point that why even risk it to some people? But it does hold the numbers to get rid completely of oil and solve global warming. It actually saves the planet, but it might fuck this particular area.
Yeah, that's right.
More.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it will fuck this particular area way more than global warming would ever do.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like people can't live there for life.
Stop being so reliant, or we can just, chill. We don't have to consume so much.
Yeah, talking this that's when people talk renewable energy, I want them to talk more about being efficiency and using less. That's the way to get rid of stuff. Because if you read a lot of this shit, efficiency, there is a lot of electricity that goes into the ground not being used. Like you can make more efficient to use less, but infrastructure can change. That's the whole another engineering.
Yeah.
We got from Yasmine.
Chicago oil industry t-shirt.
Yes. Why did I say packaging?
That's right. Yeah.
Yasmine, from hijab to nuclear energy.
Yeah, I know. We got to solve all the world's problems.
See?
If people people need to listen to us. We'll tell them what to do. I'm so glad I found you.
I had this argument with
so happy.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so glad that I talked to you, Yasmine, and let's do this again. There's a lot of things to talk about, and you keep me updated about the shit that's going on in the West, the ideas, the amount of things you're saying. I can't believe that I actually said it's even better in Cairo. What? Yeah. Did I just say that? It's shitty here still. I'm not defending like here. But there is a level of there is Muslims, Egyptian Muslims fighting shitty stuff more than American liberals.
Yeah. We in defense, I know we keep on saying liberals, but I think you and I both know that when we say liberals, we're both liberals.
But that's the terminology that's wrong here.
Yeah.
This is my fault. No, this is our fault. My friends and I, we call this progressive, which is regressive left, liberals.
Yeah. We do it here too. We it's like a shortcut term, but we know what we're saying when we say it. But in defense of liberals over here, they're just ignorant, really. They're just stupid. I don't think there's malicious intent.
That's my argument with my friend.
Yeah, they just, if you sit down with one of these people, and I have done it many times, it's just a very slow process because it's so fucking exhausting.
I know.
They have these mental blocks,
Beyond it's like mental blocks. The same mental blocks as religion.
That's why your quote about sometimes getting liberals out of the regressive left is harder than getting Muslims out of Islam. Oh, it's so perfect because they have that same kind of brainwashing that you can't get through.
There is no smack to the brain like with Muslims. It's always evolution. By the way, nobody knows about evolution. When I evidence genetics I just thrown something in the root of their brain. A month later he will return and be an atheist. But with liberals, I put a root and leave them for a month. After a month I put another root, which is all religions can be false, God, Allah doesn't exist. Then 1 month later, Omar, thank you. Like it's a basic step now. Like step one, do this. Step one, introduce him to philosophers. And step three, you never start with atheism right away. By the way, I know how to change people's minds.
We have to figure out what the steps are for the regressive left now. And we have, I know a lot of people that used to be regressive left and are now, normal thinking human beings. So
#Dave Rubin, classical rebel with a beard.
Yeah, that's right, with a beard. He's
Have you seen the beard yesterday? Yeah, it's on now, and there's a Twitter page for his beard alone.
yeah. People are obsessed with Ruben. Honestly, they are obsessed with him. So many people are obsessed with him. It's unbelievable.
Good,
But
good, good.
anyway, yeah. But I mean, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not.
No,
But
no, I will tell you right now when it's not, because this new center is just another bubble. Like, it's not
mm,
bringing the right and left from everyone to the same
it's
conversation.
creating a new
If you know,
tribe.
yeah, it's. But I am pro it just because it's a bubble that's closer to reality than the detached from the reality left. It's still better.
And
But my problem
I
is the same people keep circulating around. Like Sargon of Akkad will be on
it.
Ruben, then Ruben will be on Gatsad, then
That's
Gatsad program
it.
will be this, and this will be on this. It's the same
You got
70
it.
people.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
talking
the
about.
same guys talking
And
to
then
each other.
the liberal communists are all talking to
I'm
each other
talking to
over
each other,
here.
and the alt
And
right
then
is
all of
talking.
the racists are all talking to each other over here. And
And,
then we're all
and
talking to each other in the middle. And there's no conversation
when you
happening.
look,
Not
when
only
you look,
that, but
uh,
we're all in the West talking to each other in the West. And you're over there all talking to each other over there. And
and
no lines are being crossed. It's
and
fucking
me,
Twitter, for God's sake. We can
yeah,
all
it's fucking Twitter.
communicate together. There's no reason why we're staying in our bubbles.
And
This
me
is
looking
you
from
and I
above,
are going to break through that.
we will,
This is
Yasmin,
what I
I
want
promise
to do.
you. Because me looking from above at all these bubble, I'm going insane. Like, why is it? It's always, by the way, when it comes to the West and America, when you the people who see the bubbles the most are people from outside America. You know
Of
what I mean?
course. You
Like,
can't
it's
see
so
it.
clear. It's so
Yeah.
clear that this division is insane to us. Like, even who's trying, genuinely trying to bring left and right together? Josh Jepps, the Australian guy from We the People Live. He genuinely wants to. I don't know if he will succeed, but he's trying to make conversation happy. I feel him in his like, guys, can you just sit down and talk? I
Yeah.
can, like,
That's
I felt that, by the way. And from me, honestly, might sound weird as an opinion, but America's main enemy is not Hillary Clinton, it's not Trump, it's not Russia. It's a two-party system. It's so obvious to me. The thing that will bring America down is this exact division. This left and right have much in common, more than me and my next door neighbor who would kill me for being an atheist.
mm-hmm.
Like, how the hell are they not working together? Me and my next door neighbor fixed the elevator because of the building. They can't work together for their country. What
Yeah.
the? This is
It didn't
this is
used to
this
be
division.
that bad. It didn't used to be
Yeah,
like this is a
so
new.
bad, so
Yeah.
bad, so
Now
bad to
it's
the
to the
point that
point
I
that you
think
can't even speak to somebody who's from the other side. Even if you,
that
I mean, there was a conversation just recently on Sam Harris's podcast where they were talking about if you speak to somebody who speaks to somebody who spoke to somebody who's from the other side. I
what
mean,
is
it's
that proxy? What is that guilt by
yeah,
association, Nazi by proxy? What the fuck is that?
yeah.
Like,
But
I
it,
talked to someone who
Republicans and Democrats would be married, and they, you know what I mean, and they'd have children together. It's not like a Muslim and a Jew. You know what I
and
mean?
and
Now
Yasmin.
it's like Muslims and Jews. Now they just want nothing to do with each other. And the worst thing in the world you can be is from the other side. Yeah, it's
That's
tribal.
insane. I got used to divisions because of religion. I never actually thought that divisions because of political views would reach that far. That
Yeah.
the other is, and even me back in the day. I will tell this and we'll finish up. But one last thing. Even me back in the day when I started like knowing about America, liberal news, I used to listen to like the same liberal media I told you about pre Ben Affleck. And once the Ben Affleck moment happened, or they said something on MSNBC about Egypt, things I know about, and it was totally false, I was like, shit, what else have I took from them that is totally false? Like, I thought that conservatives are these like monstrous, racist, evil people who wanna like fucking sexist beat on women. Like, even me in Egypt, from this insane left media, actually thought that. And the second I noticed they're saying wrong stuff about things I know about, therefore what else have they done wrong, I decided to talk to everyone. I talk to conservatives. I know more I talk to like Black Americans, conservative Americans, Christian. I talk to everybody online, and when I talk to, it's all bullshit. You people are can get close to either easily, and to be honest, this
Not
idea
that
of
far apart.
the this idea, like I'm in a Facebook group it's a history World War II group filled with conservatives. First of all, conservatives are not like idiots, uneducated. Number one, sorry, media Libya. And if they were racist, they would have a problem with me. I didn't notice any racism. I noticed some other stuff that I don't relate to, but it's not that evil, you know. Like the obsession with guns. They fucking love guns. They make guns. They buy guns. They make more guns and post videos with guns. But I don't care. That's still not racist. And by the way, there is bad people on the other side.
Yeah.
That the things getting accused on them is worse than the actual bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
I know. I totally get what you mean. But I was going to say that there are people on the right, of course, that are racist, but they are a very small group. Usually, conservatives are on our side in bulk. I'd say conservatives are on our side because a lot of them are Christian. And so we have a common enemy. We have a common enemy, and that common enemy is Islam.
And when I said bad people on the right, I was talking about Christian conservatives because I hate these guys too. Like when I talk to them with an honest content, like I told you, I was gonna talk to everyone. It started hopeful, like they were asking about Coptic Christians in Egypt and South Sudan and everything.
And there's no need to hate Christian conservatives because they're not necessarily bad.
I'm talking about the two. No. Listen to me. I'm talking about two people. Two. Okay. Not Christian conservatives. I'm saying in the sample of two.
Okay.
Two. So I actually had hope. These guys are great, and out of no fucking where, faggots, fuck the gays. Out of no, homosexuality is an abomination. Like,
there you go.
And I was like, oh, you were so close to being good guys, so close. Yeah. But here's my point, Yasmine. Here's my point. The accusations from the left on the people like this are still not true because they say racist and sexist. They're not racist. Why would they care about Black Christians in Africa? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they still overdo the hate. Even the bad, they play on it, make it worse. And the other side,
does the same thing. They say liberals are baby killers, right?
Because baby killers and death panels.
Yeah. So they
know the other side.
They both overplay the negativity on the other side. And I agree with what you said. We're actually left and right are actually not that far apart, but they just it's the fringes. We've got fringe far left and we have fringe far right. I mean, the far right communist Antifa crazies.
Don't get
and then we have the far right, neo-Nazi crazies. But the bulk of normal, rational human beings is in the spectrum in between. And if we can just
99% of the country, and this divide is ridiculous. Like,
I think that if we would just, the reason what you talked about with the two-party system, and Americans, not only are they obsessed with guns, but they're obsessed with teams, like football teams and basketball teams and hockey teams and this,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you get it. So there's an us and them, and Americans are fighters too, right? Like they're used to that. They're all like revolution, and we got to have our guns. We got to be ready. Like they're not, they're very cowboys and Indians, right? Like they're not like Sweden.
yeah, they're not like Sweden. Sorry, Sweden.
Yeah. So they're ready for a fight, and so when they don't have anybody to fight, they fight themselves. So we're focusing so much on the far right and we're focusing so much on the far left, and we're forgetting that the bulk of the people are in the middle, and these are the people that we should all be talking to each other, and we can both ignore the fringes. And the right side have been, actually the conservative Americans have been good with condemning the alt-right very quickly, very swiftly, very strongly.
The left is not condemning Antifa and communists.
Now they're finally getting there, but no, they're not. They're not nearly as good with condemning
and
the fringe within their own group.
Why is the hammer and
sickle? That's what we need to do.
Question: why is the hammer and sickle okay, and the swastika is wrong? Why? It's fine. Do they know
I have
history?
no idea. I don't even
What
understand.
the fuck?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
telling a lot of when the communists remind me of Islamists when they say like that's not true Islam, that wasn't
Yes,
true communism.
that's
Oh fucking
right.
what?
Yeah, exactly the
Like
same
every
thing.
time, like no,
Yeah.
no, that was not true Islam. That Iran is
Yeah.
Shia. No, 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 that
Yeah.
was not the problem of communism. Communism is a religion
Yeah.
of peace. It was
Yeah.
Stalinism that is wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
So like, there's so much.
All the time I hear it. It just
Yeah.
wasn't implemented
It,
properly. Yeah.
no country ever
There.
implemented either communism or socialism over the last
And how
70.
many how many
Yeah,
millions, how many tens of this is Jordan Peterson was saying, like how many tens of millions of people have to die before you step back and say, okay, maybe it's a shit ideology. Now I'm talking about Islam and communism now, right?
there's
But they're still, playing the
people
same
of similarity.
record, yeah, over and over again. Oh no, it's a perfect ideology, it just hasn't been implemented perfectly yet.
Yeah, it's the
But
same.
no, I totally agree. So these are all fringe groups. These are all extremes. And we have to just start to recognize that all of these extremists, Muslims include, or Islamists, I guess I should say, the Islami, they included in these extremists as well. And just
I
like you can have Christians that are absolutely normal, average people that are not homophobic, that are not sexist, that are not racist, the same can be said of Muslims as well. However, you will have a fringe minority group of Christians that are a bunch of racist, sexist, bigoted assholes, and the same can be said of Muslims and any other group as well.
exactly.
And that's just what we have to, what you said at some point in this podcast where you talked about, can we just start to treat all human beings the same? Just recognize that we're all the same and we all have good and bad and we all have extremes within our groups. And if we would just ignore the extremes and start to focus on the rational people in the middle here, we'll realize that we are very close to each
Yes,
other. And what you talked about before too, about joining hands and fixing the elevator because you all live in the same building, that's what we should be doing too when we have an issue like the Islamic terrorism. It's a non-partisan issue. It's not right and
supposed
left.
to be
This is
non-partisan.
the same fucking elevator in the same fucking building that you're all living in. Work together and fix the elevator. Right?
Exactly. Taban,
Yeah.
that's the ending speech right there. And Islamic terrorism is a bipartisan issue, so as a hurricane, so as anything threatening a country. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Perfectly said. Yeah. Yeah.
Yasmine, we should do this again. Thank you so much. We went from hijab to nuclear power to communism.
Yes, that's right. That's so
Because
good.
we're fucking awesome. احنا جامدين.
Yeah.
حبيبتي ياسمين والله.
Thank you so
شكرا
much.
شكرا
I'm
انت اللي شكرا والله.
so glad that I found you. And hopefully we can be this bridge to bridge this divide. We were talking about
I
knocking
am
down
trying.
walls of
And
these bubbles and getting people.
I'm knocking on walls on my side too.
That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do.
Remember, my side, anyone who says is a liberal, oh, that idiot. They still have problems. Just by saying liberals. They have this idea of liberals as leftists.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah. Let them listen to
They
me.
didn't
And
get
I'm a liberal and you're
Hey,
a
listen
liberal.
to me.
And let them hear us and realize that there
لا
are a
احنا
lot of
علمانيين. احنا
people.
مش liberal.
Yeah. But that's
Secularism.
terminology. It's all just
Yeah, fucking terminology, man. And putting people in groups except instead of treating them as individuals. Therefore, I am only an Omar Islamist.
That's right. And I
Thank you
believe
so
in
much,
Allah.
Yasmine. We'll
Okay.
we'll talk to you again. I am honored to have you here anytime. And thank you so much and great conversation. Yalla. Bye bye, حبيبتي.
Bye.